You do hereby affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Ohio and the Charter of the City of Fostoria, Ohio, and that you will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of a member of City Council according to the best of your ability and understanding, so help you God. If you could please sign there and then notarize it. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Kenny, I will make a copy of this after the meeting.
That's fine.
For my records and then.
Yeah, no worries.
A more official thing.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
You want to call this meeting to order? Please rise for a moment of silent reflection before we begin. And join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. All right. Shall we call a roll?
Sure. Mennel?
Here.
Shaver?
Here.
Baker?
Here.
Mendoza? Here. Logsdon? Lake?
Here.
Cassidy? Sorry, it's
Out of sight, out of mind.
Mr.
Right.
President, I move that we excuse councilpersons Cassidy and Logsdon from this meeting.
Second that. We have a motion by Mr. Shaver to excuse the missing council people. Second by Mr. Lake. Let's call the roll.
Mennel?
Yes.
Shaver?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Mendoza? Yes. Lake?
Yes. All right, so excused. And we should receive the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'd like to move to amend the previous meeting minutes.
Okay.
Under the report of officers for the safety service director, the final number been reduced to $2,610,000, should reflect just $2,610.
Okay.
And also, under new business, the resolution urging Governor DeWine and the Ohio Department of Transportation is omitted and needs to be added.
Any other discussion or amendments to the minutes?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Mendoza to amend the minutes as discussed. Second by Mr. Mennel. Let's call the roll.
Mennel?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Shaver?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Lake?
Yes. Minutes, amended minutes approved. What do you do to approve? I was just amended.
Right. What?
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion to approve. Mr. Shaver, second by Ms. Mendoza. Let's call the roll on that.
Mennel?
Yes.
Shaver?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Lake?
Yes. There we go. Now we're officially approved. Looks like we got a letter.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have 2 letters.
2 letters.
Yeah, from Ohio's Liquor Department.
They love us.
They do love us. They need to know if council wants a hearing on Tiffin Street Pub LLC. And also want to know if we want a hearing for Fostoria Dells LLC.
What is Tiffin Pub? Tiffin Street Pub?
It's on 121 East Tiffin, that's all it says.
So it's not yet open?
I do not believe, but they are requesting, do we want a hearing? So they must already have they must already have a license, because it's not new, it's a renewal.
And that's for Dells as well, they already have a license?
Yes, that's correct.
And
Fostoria Dell's is Dell's Restaurant, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
121 East.
21 East Tiffin.
Yeah. Should we have that, because I'll be reviewing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it? Is that the building that was just purchased for a restaurant?
I believe that is the address of that building. But that's about all I know about it.
So would a liquor license have transferred with the sale or transferred in?
There shouldn't have, I don't know if one been there before.
The VFW building. According to Google, it's here. So perhaps Google isn't the best now. Unless, I mean, I'm all for revenue sources, but perhaps a tap at the council meeting is not what we're looking for.
What kind of license are they requesting?
It does not even say that, it just needs to know if you want a hearing for issuing the permit.
It says permit Class B.
That's all it says.
It's the same one that Dell's holds, for whatever that's worth.
Is that beer only?
They have beer only at Dell's if it's the same.
They have a permit number, but I don't know if it's just beer. Dell's just sells
I
beer.
think that at the bottom there, it says this is a, is that
East.
Get that one?
I didn't get the numbers.
121 East.
And it says new, but I don't know if that means new or if that means.
I don't know either. It says
Brewery,
B
is it?
new.
It's further down in the brewery, I believe.
It's the old bakery.
Hmm?
It's the old bakery building.
I'm sorry?
The Three Sisters.
Yeah, the Three Sisters, Bud Bakery building.
The old Buns Bakery?
Which I heard a restaurant was going in there.
Do we wish for a hearing or no hearing? I guess we do one at a time. Do we wish for a hearing for Fostoria Dells? Anyone?
No.
Want a hearing for, okay, we do not want a hearing for Fostoria Dells.
Okay.
Would anyone like a hearing on Tiffin Street Pub? Okay, none of that ready?
No?
Very good. We're on to committees. Finance Committee.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee will meet at 5:30 before the next council meeting on May 16th.
Okay.
Okay. 16. Beautiful. Do I need the, I know law and ordinance, you have something, do you have something coming up, is that correct?
We'll have a meeting on May 16th at 5:15.
5:15. And then since Ms. Mendoza is still the lone Public Affairs Committee person, at least as of this second, then we'll get you a partner and then you can decide when you're meeting.
Appreciate that.
Hey, least I can do. All right, very good. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, we have a proclamation tonight for Motorcycle Awareness Month. And in our audience tonight is Ed Sheeter, the Executive Director of Bate, Ohio, who will be accepting that proclamation and taking it down to the state capitol, I believe.
Yeah, I'll be carrying it to the state capitol where it will be presented on Saturday as part of our statewide motorcycle awareness program, and then all the proclamations we've collected throughout the state will be presented to the governor's office that go along with his proclamation of motorcycle awareness.
All right, so I'll read this proclamation. It is delightful. So, whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of efficient transportation and recreation in Fostoria, and whereas it is important that the drivers of all vehicles be aware of one another and learn to share the road, and whereas the safety hazards created by motorists who fail to watch for motorcyclists on the streets and highways of Fostoria are a prime concern to motorcyclists. And whereas it is especially important that the citizens of Fostoria recognize the importance of motorcycle safety, and whereas the American Bikers Aim Toward Education of Bate of Ohio is an organization that is actively promoting the operation, training, and awareness of motorcycles. And whereas it is important to recognize the need for awareness on the part of all drivers, especially with regard to sharing the road with motorcycles, and to honor the many contributions motorcyclists make to communities in which they live and ride. Therefore, I, Eric Keckler, Mayor of the City of Fostoria, do hereby proclaim the May 2023 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the City of Fostoria, and ask all drivers to look twice for motorcycles on our roadways. So Ed, I will present this to you, sir. We'll get one over here, and then we'll let everybody else get one if they want. All right? You have yours.
All right.
Please feel free if you'd like to say anything else, Ed.
Well, thank you for contributing to the safety of the motorcyclists from Fostoria and those passing through Fostoria. This, I believe, not admitting my age or anything like that, is the 25th year in a row that I've collected this proclamation from the City of Fostoria. And I can proudly say, as a Fostoria resident, I don't know of any other community in this area that can hit 25 in a row. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll, while we're on this topic, Mr. Mayor, if I may, real quick, I would remind everyone not to blow their grass into the streets.
Yes,
That's
please.
a frequent issue with motorcycle riders. And also let you know, I'll be very disappointed if you did not roll each of those up and do the hear ye when you get down to the governor. I'm just saying. I think that'd be a lot more effective for encouragement action.
I'm
Just
not
something to think
shy.
about.
I'm not shy. I'll do anything.
I'm not telling you to do your job. I'm just saying. Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, what else you got?
Tomorrow is the is National Day of Prayer, and we will be having a ceremony in conjunction and cooperation with the Fostoria Kiwanis Club. It'll be at 2 o'clock tomorrow on the front lawn of the Fostoria Municipal Building, and we welcome everyone to come and join in this National Day of Prayer. And then just a reminder that the Fostoria Farmers and Artisans Market is tomorrow at 4 o'clock from 4 to 8 downtown, sponsored by Geary Family YMCA, and the theme is Celebrate Moms and Kids. So I think that is most of my report tonight. I know that there is a piece of legislation on here that has to do with moving a bunch of money around, and I know that we had the state, for lack of a better term, oversight committee come in here, commission come in last month. There was a lot of conversations that was had with Cindy from the state auditor's office, with both fire chief, police chief, and members of the water and sewer departments. There's some projects that were started in 2022 that carried over to 23, and there were either were or weren't POs, and there was those issues that we had with the pipes that need to be replaced down on North Street, so we had to move some money around within some of these departments to continue some projects that were already planned and in this 5-year recovery plan. So that's what this is all about. I know one has to do with finishing up bulletproof vests, and then the water sewer ones were aimed at having that emergency late in the year last year, carried over into this year, and kind of messed up everybody's budgets. So we had to make some things move around so we could finish the rest of our projects. So that's what that's all about, when it came from the state auditor's office.
That's a lot of money. It would really be helpful if you could break that down for us a little bit, especially when you send it out. Maybe this much for police department because of this much for fire.
Well, I agree with you. That's why I called the state auditor today to ask those questions.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Anything else for the mayor?
I have a question for you,
Yes.
Mayor Keckler. I've had a couple of people ask me within the last day or so about the signs that certain departments within the building are closed and by appointment only. Is there a reason for for that, or a timeline as to when that might change?
It's only temporary. That should change fairly soon.
Okay, is that due to like understaffing or?
No, just some issues that we needed to get straightened out.
Okay, so just to help with work production.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And also there was an issue, I know that some people tried to get a hold of the street department over the last several days, and for whatever reason their phone was out, and then it said the number had been changed, but there was no information about that number, and that was fixed today as well, so
Good to know.
street department phone number is back up and running.
Excellent. Anything else? Good. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Madam Law Director?
No report for me today.
Okay. Thank you. Right. Now is the time for public comment. Ms. Baldwin, are you here with us?
I am.
Yep, you are first up. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Judy Baldwin. I'm the person that emailed you guys with the request to provide a recycling program for Seneca County residents that live in the city limits because I no longer have anywhere to take my recyclables. You provided me the Ottawa, Sandusky, Seneca for OSS Solid Waste Management District Plan for 2024 to 2038 that I will refer to as the plan, which I appreciated receiving, and I read all 375 pages. There was some good information in the plan, but in the end, the plan is not going to provide recycling capabilities for me. They will provide plenty of educational programs, program development, assessments, and evaluations. But ultimately, providing recycling capabilities will need to come from the city. I thought the following were noteworthy after reading the plan. According to the EPA, Ohio EPA statistics, Sunny Farms only has an 8-year capacity left. And I wonder if you're okay with that that we would be shortening the time further by adding our recyclables to the landfill. A benefit of Fostoria having a recycling program is they could be eligible for grants that might help offset the cost of a recycling program. There are fundings available, but you have to have a recycling program to be eligible. Ferrous metal and cardboard are highly valuable materials and are the most recyclable material in the OSS district's industrial sector. People are doing a lot of online shopping, and that's a lot of cardboard going to the landfill from the residential sector. The plan showed repeatedly that recycling waste has been on the uptick and will continue to grow even though our population is decreasing. I'm guessing that Fostoria signed the prior plan, and that's why you received the updated plan to approve. I kind of feel that OSS washed their hands of city involvement with recycling and turned to benefiting the townships instead. OSS had a 2020 state plan goal to ensure that there is adequate infrastructure to give residents and commercial businesses opportunities to recycle solid waste. Obviously, that didn't happen here, and it is not part of the plan for 2024 through 2038. However, the other cities in Seneca County took care of their recycling needs, but not Fostoria. Every class in grades K through 5 are taught about litter prevention and recycling. They provide recycling containers at the schools. How does that look when that same child goes home and doesn't have that opportunity because they can't recycle? Because we have no place to take it. Economic and social development is the process by which the economic well-being and quality of life of a local community or an individual are improved according to targeted goals and objectives. It is our duty to improve our community, the well-being of individuals, and our environment through recycling. People want to move to cities that offer those amenities. I would just like to reiterate the importance of recycling and why we need to provide that means for the Seneca County residents of Fostoria, preferably sooner than later, please.
Ms. Baldwin, I did actually do a little bit of research
Yes.
for the meeting. I drove out to Loudon Township where I always take mine. And I believe whoever put that sign out spoke incorrectly, because the sign says, no businesses, Loudon Township residents only, but it's not Loudon Township's residents only, it just means apparently they were getting a lot of business recycling out there, because then I drove down the street to Hopewell Township, and there's no signage in Hopewell Township at all. So, not saying that you still didn't raise a valuable issue, I just believe whoever at Loudon Township put the sign out misspoke when they said Loudon Township residents only.
No, it does say that.
I know it does.
Oh.
What I'm saying is, I don't think that that's what they mean. I think they were just saying, no business dumping, residential dumping only, because their permanent sign still says anyone can use the green containers. And if you go a mile down the road to Hopewell Township, there are no signs at all, just the green containers. I was there literally a half hour ago.
At Loudon? Loudon has a sign that says there's a $150 fine for dumping.
In the dumpsters, in their trash dumpsters.
Correct, but
Not to, and then it says at the top, green dumpsters are for use by anyone.
I missed that. I've got a picture of the sign, so
That's fine.
I will look at,
I-
but thank you, I
could-
appreciate
I could
that.
misread it, but like I said, if you go, and not saying that we need to go further away, I certainly agree. But I double checked with the other, because I know of several OSS recycling spots,
Right,
because sometimes the ones are full, so I go to the next one. But the Hopewell Township one doesn't have any signage at all, and neither does, I checked with my in-laws who live over by Eden Township, and the Eden Township doesn't have any signage either. So I think they're more worried about protecting their dumpsters.
I have a copy of the sign.
Okay.
It says, green dumpsters open to all recyclable material only, break down boxes. Dumping allowed in containers only. Lids must be closed. Violators will be fined $150 and/or prosecuted. Gray dumpsters, Loudon Township residents only. No recyclable material. But it doesn't say that the recycling is, the townships are the, residents are the only ones that can use the township.
That's not accurate.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I take mine out there, and I'm gonna continue to take it out there.
I think she's correct. Fostoria had recycling. The Rotary Club set it up for Fostoria. It was out at the stadium. And it mysteriously disappeared immediately after City Council passed an emergency ordinance against the landfill expansion.
But even then, those bins were only for cardboard, which is
They
great.
were for cardboard and paper.
Okay.
And if I recall correctly, they were also routinely filled with garbage and refuse, and that's why they had to be pulled, because the citizens of town couldn't stop dumping their trash in them.
That happens everywhere.
But there was also a posting on Facebook that Loudon Township was for Loudon Township residents only.
I've always understood it like that, but
And
I
Clinton
take my
Township has
recycling
the
there
same sign
anyways.
up also.
Okay,
Clinton
well, I could
Township
be
is with it.
very mistaken.
I mean, they've all gone to, only township residents can take their recyclables to the township, not the city residents.
I'm not sure how the Ottawa,
I know.
Sandusky, whatever county, Seneca County Solid Waste Authority can deny someone that's in the Ottawa, Sandusky, Seneca County Waste Authority.
I know, but they
Certainly a good
are
topic.
trying to do that.
Certainly a
yeah.
good topic. No, I appreciate you coming forth, absolutely, and you're absolutely right. It's
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate
no,
your time.
No, absolutely. So Ms. Barber called ahead, and so she was able to have some extra time. Anyone else, you're going to be limited to 3 minutes tonight, unless you speak to me nicely. I'm just kidding. You're still limited to 3 minutes. So anyone else who wants to come forward and address council, please state your name and address. Make sure you write it down so Tammy gets it right in the permanent record, and you can use all 3 minutes. Good evening.
Excuse me. I'm Serena Reese, East High Street, here in Fostoria. First, I just wanted to encourage you guys, from what I understand from just overhearing conversations, you guys just got the OSS plan not long ago, which is crazy to me. But anyhow, I mean, I would encourage you guys to really look over it, and because I've looked over it, I haven't looked over all 300 and whatever pages, but some of the things I've seen in there are troubling to me as far as the landfill goes. From what I understand, they have authority to limit some things and change some things and whatever, and I don't think they've done that, which I'm not an expert at it, so I don't know for sure. But there are people, you guys know, who in town here has done more research on it and is more knowledgeable about it. So I would just suggest maybe getting with those people, maybe getting with the Seneca County Commissioners who are on the OSS board and really trying to figure this out, because I feel like, you know, there's 6 commissioners on the board from other counties, and those other 2 counties are getting all this money from the landfill, but they don't have any of the, you know, they're not being dumped on like we are. So, you know, I feel like they're probably not real concerned about what's going on over here. So I would just really encourage you guys to really look over it, which I don't know how much time you have, but there definitely needs to be some changes to it. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is, why is this building still locked up like Fort Knox?
Well, it's not locked up like Fort Knox. You can come in the police department building, or if you want to come in and talk to someone about taxes or the zoning, there is a buzzer out front. So we have a court, we have police department in the building, and one of the concerns is police department knowing who's coming in and out, just to make sure that there's some security in the building. And folks can come up whenever they want to. They just come through that door out front there, or buzz if they have an appointment with someone in the building, or come up through their tax code.
Okay, I can completely understand security, and there are ways to, you know, make the building secure without having all the doors locked. Normally when I come up, well, I don't know about the front door. I've been told that it's unlocked during the water department's business hours or whatever.
Yep.
But I don't feel like people that need to come up to go to the, you know, the courthouse, whatever, should have to go through the police department to get in here. So, you know, we pay for this building. I think we should be able to come in and out at leisure.
Yeah, we're probably the only one building that has a court in it that doesn't have some sort of security. We didn't put in any metal detectors or anything like that. It's just the idea of I mean, nobody's keeping anybody out of the building when they come in. It's just some security that the police know who's in the building and where they are. And if somebody wants to come in for to meet either in the mayor's office or in the zoning office or in the tax office, there is right there in the front opening of the door where you walk in. You can buzz that office and they'll let you come up, or you can come to the police department, tell them you're headed up to see the mayor or up to the tax office, and there's nobody stopping you at that door.
Yeah, but you have to tell them why you're here. I mean, I should be able to just walk in this building and do whatever business I'm here for without having to tell somebody why I'm here. Like I said, we pay for this building, and I just feel like
That's
we should be able to.
That's your opinion, but the chief and I have spoken about that. The judge that was seated before, I've not had a conversation with the judge who's currently seated, but those folks were adamant about having some security in the building, so.
And like I said, I'm all for security.
That's who I've taken my opinions from, and so if you.
I'm all for security. There's other ways to do security that doesn't restrict people from coming in the building freely. So, thank you.
And again, if they come in freely, they can walk in the police department building. It is at least some measure of security for the people that work in this building, especially in the court and in the police department.
Again, there's other ways to do it where people can just walk in the building. Thank you.
And again, they can walk in the building.
Other members of the public? Seeing that, we move, oh, sorry, Mr. Allison. My apologies for jumping the gun.
Paul Allison, 119.5 West Center Street, Apartment 2. Speaking basically in 3 areas, as a member of the Board of Zoning Appeals, we are still looking to have an appointment for our 5th member. We've been waiting for quite some time. I believe there is a person who is willing to take the position, but we still don't have an appointment to make us a full board. It's always better to have the full board because we have a 5-member board. It takes 3 to be a quorum, and if you only have 4 members, obviously it's a more difficult situation to get a quorum sometimes. Now, secondly, Josh from the zoning has provided a proposed ordinance regarding animals and chickens, and he also has proposed some amendments to the fence ordinance, which I think he has given to the Law and Ordinance Committee, which they will look at and consider at their next meeting. I've looked at them, I have copies. They seem to be a good starting point to me, but obviously I'm only one person. Secondly, I voted yesterday in 3B, and when I went online today and checked how many people voted, we had 50 total, but it was only 48 in person. It was 2 by absentee. That's something like 6% of the registered voters. That's a miserable turnout, absolutely miserable. We had people council people on the ballot. We had a mayor's situation on the ballot, and of course there was a contest, a Republican contest for municipal court judge, which also includes Fostoria, of course. Although you had to, of course, vote in the Republican primary if you wanted to vote for that office. According to the records of the county, of the 50 people who voted, 38 people voted in the Republican primary and 12 people voted nonpartisan. So, I hope we do better in November. We obviously will have contests for mayor and for council at large. I would certainly hope we would do better, but it was really a miserable turnout. It's the only way I can categorize it. No other way I cannot possibly categorize that situation. Okay, that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allison. Pleasure to see you as always. I would have a nice long pause before I ask if there's any other members of the public, so I don't jump the gun and exclude once. Very good. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to say something. We go on to old business.
An ordinance granting consent to the Director of Transportation of the State of Ohio and authorizing the mayor on behalf of the City of Fostoria, Ohio, hereinafter referred to as the Local Public Agency, LPA, to enter into contracts with the Director of Transportation necessary to complete described pavement repair projects and declaring an emergency to exist.
That is the third reading of that ordinance.
Move to adopt.
Second.
A motion to adopt by Mr. Lake, second by Ms. Mendoza. Let's call the roll.
Mennel?
Yes.
Shaver?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Lake?
Yes.
That becomes ordinance 2023-30. 30. Thank you, ma'am. Whenever you are ready.
A resolution urging Governor DeWine and the Ohio Department of Transportation to reconsider the ending of the Route 23 Connect study and in support of an improved highway connection between Northwest Ohio and the city of Columbus.
That is the second reading of that resolution. And concludes old business. Move forward to new business.
Okay. An ordinance adopting and amending ordinance number 2022-75, permanent 2023 appropriations by appropriating from unappropriated funds in the general fund and transferring appropriations in the water fund and declaring an emergency.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
That is the first reading of that ordinance. Next one, please.
Do we need to
Can't.
pass that tonight?
We can't.
We can't.
No, and I thought the window for that is until June the 3rd. The OSS
We're
one.
talking about the appropriations. She skipped over the OSS one.
Oh, yeah, that one, I don't know if you can, there's not
we don't
enough
have
people,
enough
so we
people.
can't.
Don't have enough people. Okay.
That requires more people.
Okay.
So,
A resolution adopting the solid waste management plan for the Ottawa, Sandusky, Seneca Joint Solid Waste Management District and declaring an emergency to exist.
and that is the first reading of that resolution.
Discussion, please.
Absolutely.
I didn't get through all 375 pages of that document either, but I did get through a lot of it. And if they want us to pass that resolution, I think they ought to come over here and present to us what they want and what they are doing. That was one of the worst cut and paste jobs I have ever read, and I would be embarrassed to put my name to it. The plan says that they do not charge the highest rates available under state law, and yet they're going to have a deficit before the end of the plan. Where is the logic of that? Chapter 2 states landfills must have 10 years of capacity. Yet, as was pointed out earlier, Sunny Farms only has 8 years of capacity. So must have 10 only has 8? How does that work? There's a chart in there that I copied. You can see it drifts down. Let me read you what it says. The figure below shows a steady increase in the population throughout the planning period. Next sentence. The population is expected to decrease by 7.55% from 2019 through the fifth year of the planning period, year 2028, and decrease by 3.65% by the end of the planning period. Which is it, up or down? This is a cut and paste job. It's a disgrace. I would say it's garbage in and garbage out, but that would be
The truth.
maybe the truth, but I didn't want to make a pun.
You added to landfills.
I mean,
We'll recycle that paper, please.
exactly. I mean,
I noticed on page 27, it says, I don't know if it's a misprint, but it's highlighted, Sunny Farms has many, just clear English, I don't know if it's misprint, also has many 83 years of remaining capacity available. I don't know if they let out words, but then at the bottom it only shows 8 years.
exactly.
So did they not put a 3 behind the 8, or was this a misprint up above?
Or they
It's
do
kinda-
not know whether it's expanding or not?
Are they trying to pass this thing and then later on turn around and say, well, it's an emergency measure, we're gonna have to expand? No, we don't wanna do that. So, something that we need to talk to them about.
Yeah, I don't know if our vote makes any difference in this or not. It hasn't heretofore.
It requires 60% of all the municipalities and town, or
Requires what?
60% of the 3 counties to vote it through.
Is that just, is that just the cities, like the municipalities, or does that include townships?
I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. Might be something to find out, or reach out to some of our colleagues.
Has anyone talked to the county commissioners about it and how they feel about it? I haven't talked to them, I just wondered if any of you had talked to them.
Not yet. I had several email correspondences with the director of OSS, but didn't get much takeaway from those correspondences.
Doesn't surprise me.
Why did it change from,
Sorry?
why did it change from 2017 to 2031? Now they want to create a new one for 2024 to 2038.
I think they're required to do it every so many years.
Yeah, and this is like a 14-year plan or a 16-year plan or something, which is crazy to me.
14 years.
Yeah.
Is it a 14-year plan that has to be every so often, has to, do they plan out longer and then adjust it? Lots of questions. Should we have, perhaps we should invite the representatives to come to a meeting and explain what's going on. Let's see if we can, anyone who knows them, and those you've already been speaking
Sure.
with, perhaps you'd like to include that invitation?
Sure.
As correspondence?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Does that cover your discussion points, Mr. Mennel?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. I can speak. That concludes new business. Any matters for executive session this evening? Very good. We have a couple of miscellaneous. I will start. I would like to appoint Ms. Mendoza to the FEDC, whatever, for our appointment to replace Mr. Schaefer, who will be sitting in that seat. So that, do we need a vote on that? Or just appoint him?
Is it just an appointment? Then you.
So there you go, congratulations.
Appointed to what board?
FEDC.
Thank you.
I know there's several others, as Mr. Allison talked about, and we'll try and get those knocked out here as we go. But you should approach me about that, so we get that taken care of. Also, and heading on to the community calendar, this Sunday from 1 to 4 at in the, what are we calling it these days? The veteran building, the old building.
Legacy Hall?
Legacy building, I don't know. Anyways, in the place where they play the varsity basketball and we do our concerts is our Fostoria City Schools Arts Festival. We turn to a much more complete arts festival than we've had since the pre-pandemic times, and so there'll be visual art from students K through 12 on display, both in the varsity gym and in the Legacy Hall, and there will be music throughout the day. The 6th grade band will be playing. The always popular Pep Tribe Choir of Chris Santos will be performing. The Tribe Vocal Ensemble will be performing, and several high school and junior high small ensembles will be performing as well. So a day of music and visual art and just celebrating all the great creativity that happens up there at work. Where Mr. Shaver and I spend way too much time. So come by and check it out. You'll be amazed. I'm a not visual art person. I'm stick figures and boxy cars. And so to see some of the art creations from our young students is always inspiring to me. I know every day I pass a bulletin board with the Artist of the Month at the elementary school, and it's way beyond my talent level. And like I said, there's plenty of music also, which I think you'll enjoy. Some very fun groups and some young musicians, some older musicians. So a good time shall be had by all. Money back guarantee. Admission is free. So there you go. That is all I have. Any other miscellaneous? Anyone want to go home?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Move to adjourn by Mr. Shaver. We'll get Mr. Baker first and second. Call the roll.
Mennel?
Yes.
Shaver?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Lake?
Yes.
Sorry, I
Wonderful day.